Wrong. Capitalism always ends up in fascism, and the historical record proves this time and time again. More projection from a capitalist simp. Fascism is literally capitalism in decay. When things start to break down, capitalism runs to fascism because fascism doesn't threaten capital. If you are going to come to a discussion on political theory and the different modes of social organization, at least understand the traditions, at least understand the principles. The very least that you can do is to objectively understand the arguments posed by these different ideologies and not weaponize these terms and use them as propagandistic buzzwords. I feel like I'm trying to help you in your intellectual self-defense when you hear things like this. It's always projection. Capitalism projects its failures onto other ideologies when actually capitalism is to blame. Communism is a classless, stateless society. No communist party which seized state power in history ever referred to their government as communist. Communism in modern society simply does not exist. So you can't argue that it ended up in fascism if it didn't exist in the first place. You cannot have communism in a world of nation states. By definition, you are wrong. Fascism, by definition, is the opposite of communism. Whereas communism is the goal of achieving a classless, stateless society, fascism requires both class and state. Fascism requires a capitalist exploitative class which has privatized all industries in conjunction with a violent state power which enforces the social hierarchy. Usually, it is a party which is ethnically tied to a nationalist sense of identity. Fascism is top-down hierarchical control of the state, where you have one person at the top, usually a dictator, which makes all the decisions for the rest of the society. If there is anything in the modern era that resembles fascism today, it is capitalism. It is corporations. So you can't say that a classless, stateless society led to fascism, because a classless, stateless society never has existed in the modern era, and nor did it ever, or could it ever, lead to fascism. Communist parties have always correctly understood this and have deemed their government socialist. Maybe not pure socialism, because that would mean that workers control the means of production in society, but they were socialists, which meant that they were trying to implement working class policies that benefited the general public. In the context of a nation state, socialism means a government that institutes agrarian reform or democratic reform. In the context of a nation state, socialism means that the government benefits people. Government benefits working class people such as yourself. But again, that's not communism, and it's certainly not fascism. Socialism is the transition between capitalism and communism. Whoever this person is does not understand these words like they think they do. Most likely, they've just been listening to Western corporate media talk about what communism is and have internalized that set of definitions. Remember, every word has two meanings. Every term has two meanings. There's the political meaning and the literal meaning, and the two are often not the same. Usually they're the opposite. The communist tradition has always been about empowering the working class and abolishing class altogether, and also abolishing the state. In political terms, in propaganda, it means tyranny, evil. It means fascism. That is because American oligarchs in the capitalist system have pushed this onto the public to get them to hate social movements that uplift the working class worldwide, because that threatens their reign of power. That threatens their capital. That threatens their wealth and property. Capitalists don't want people coming for their wealth. Capitalists don't want people coming for their property. Capitalists don't want workers to understand how society is organized around the means of production. They don't want people to understand that society could be organized differently and that the capitalist mode of production is just one form of producing in the economy. That is why revolutions that uplift the working class are so feared by the capitalist class. And rightly so, because Working class movements seek to shake up the social order of society. This is well known and well documented in the high levels of US government historically. You can read about the opinions of senior officials, policy planners in the US government, what their thoughts were on the Bolshevik Revolution, what they thought about fascist coups and takeovers, how they loved them. This is an example of historical revisionism to say that communism is fascism and fascism is communism. There's literally been wars fought between the two, okay? Communists and fascists don't like each other, yet you still have people spouting this capitalist propaganda, trying to get the people to hate working class ideals and act against their own class interests. This person fell for it.